Get ready for heavy doses of ego, drugs, and differing artistic directions. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 messiest band breakups. For this list, we're looking at bands that either completely split up or that had key members leave in a dramatic, unpleasant, and/or not so great way.
Come on, saddle up, boys, we're gonna ride into town, we're gonna get a little out of control.
Number 10, NWA.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube, from the gang called niggas with attitudes.
Throughout the mid to late 1980s, NWA revolutionized hip-hop by popularizing gangsta rap, making headlines and receiving FBI warnings for expressing unforgiving hatred of the police. In 1991, they were at the height of their success, but it would be their last year together.
I'm expressing with my full capabilities, and now I'm living in correctional facilities. Cause some don't agree with how I do this. I get straight and meditate like a Buddhist.
Dre exited the group to pursue his solo career, and everyone else followed suit. But the hatchet was far from buried after the group disbanded. Members feuded with each other through their solo albums, often issuing insults in their lyrics. Eazy-E especially did this a lot, frequently attacking Dr. Dre.
Hey yo, doctor, here's another proper track, and it's fat, watch the sniper, time to pay the piper.
Some of the members threw around the idea of a reunion, but Eazy-E died from AIDS in 1995. It wasn't until the turn of the 21st century that the remaining members started to work together again.
The gun that started the clock, that's when the E jumped off the starting block. 100 miles from home and yo, it's a long stretch. A little sprinting young brother that they won't catch.
Number 9, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Well, good job in the city, working for the man every night and day.
In less than 4 years, from 1967 to 1970, CCR was able to produce a massive amount of hits. But in 1971, things took a turn for the worse.
Just got home from Illinois, locked the front door, oh boy. Got to sit down, take a rest on the porch.
For most of the band's run, John Fogerty was the primary, if not sole creative force, and the other members had been demanding that things be done more democratically since their early successes. That spring, John Fogerty finally caved and let the other members contribute songs with the stipulation that he only play rhythm guitar on the tracks. The resulting album Mardi Gras was critically derided and failed to climb the charts like their previous works did. In 1972, they disbanded and have never officially reunited for a long period of time. Number 8, Van Halen. While Van Halen never fully broke up, they've had a few very notable lineup changes and taken breaks from making and performing music. After having creative differences with Eddie Van Halen, David Lee Roth left the band in 1985 and was replaced with Sammy Hagar, who stayed with the band until 1996, leaving because he had qualms about making a compilation album before the release of a studio album.
You look at every face in a crowd. Some shine and some keep you guessing.
The band briefly reunited with Roth for the 1996 VMAs, but then enlisted Gary Cherone. After a hiatus, they reunited with Hagar in 2003 and then went back to Roth in 2006. Talk about messy. Number 7, The Smashing Pumpkins. Being one of the most successful acts of the 90s wasn't easy for the members of the Smashing Pumpkins. Tensions began to flare as early as 1993 when the other members of the band felt that Billy Corgan was being too dominating after insisting on playing almost all of the guitar and bass on the Siamese Dream recording. The band became even more fragile after their touring keyboardist died of a heroin overdose in 1996. This, as well as the fact that other band members had serious drug problems, led the band to break up in 2000, though they would reform in 2007 with the lineup frequently changing ever since.
The lovers make a
Number 6. Pink Floyd. After 2 decades of success and trailblazing in psychedelic rock, Roger Waters felt that the band had become creatively defunct. Following the settling of an agreement, the vocalist and bassist left in 1983, though keyboardist Richard Wright preceded him in 1979. Contrary to Waters' prediction that the band was a spent force creatively, the band was able to continue on successfully without him and make A Momentary Lapse of Reason, which was a huge hit, especially compared to his solo album Radio Chaos.
I like staying with my Uncle Dave, and I like playing with his great Dave.
Into the 1990s and 2000s, Waters and Gilmour were able to ease some of the tension between them and collaborated on a set at Live 8 in 2005. Number 5. The Beatles.
Don't let me down. Don't let me down.
Often regarded as one of the greatest and most influential bands of all time, the Beatles' breakup is commonly blamed solely on Yoko Ono. But the more nuanced truth was that the band was under a lot of stress since the death of their manager Brian Epstein in 1967, and all 4 members had begun to drift apart creatively, with Harrison especially feeling like his burgeoning creative contributions were being stifled by Lennon and McCartney.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad.
Before Abbey Road was released, John Lennon had privately announced to the group that he was leaving. However, it wasn't until the next year that Paul McCartney publicly declared his departure and acknowledged their demise. Besides several collaborations, the Beatles never fully reunited.
You say goodbye, and I say hello. Hello, hello.
Number 4. Fleetwood Mac.
So I'm back to the velvet underground.
In the years leading up to 1995, the band had made multiple lineup changes. Many of the members were married or romantically involved with other members, which made things more complicated after several divorces and breakups shook up the group. The biggest shakeup happened at a band meeting in 1987, where Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks reportedly got into a physical altercation, which resulted in Buckingham leaving the group the next day. Nicks left the group in the early 1990s, and the rest of them called it quits in 1995. But the Rumors album lineup got back together 2 years later and have been going fairly strong since, though not without some more lineup changes and member departures, of course.
You're changing all the time.
Number 3. Eagles.
On the dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair.
Though they reunited 14 years after their original split, the Eagles' breakup remains one of music history's most heated. Being one of the most successful bands in the country led to a lot of inner conflict in the group. Don Henley and Glenn Frey were calling all the shots, and Don Felder started to feel like a subordinate in the group. The pressure cooker finally blew at the 1980 benefit concert for Senator Alan Cranston when Don Felder made a snarky comment to the senator's wife. During the show that night, Glenn Frey and Felder kept making threats to each other while on stage. That was the last time they played together before the reunion in 1994.
Wonder why the right words never come.
Number 2. Guns N' Roses.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. How do we know the name?
In the lurid, drug and ego-fueled world of 80s arena rock, this band stood a top hat taller than the rest. Guns N' Roses was hugely successful, and like many bands on this list, they weren't able to handle it.
She's got a smile that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories.
The trouble started brewing when their drummer Steve Adler was fired from the band because of a drug problem, and then crescendoed as Axl and Slash started sparring, ultimately resulting in a split of the original lineup after the end of the Use Your Illusion tour in 1993. For some time thereafter, Guns N' Roses still existed with Axl Rose as the only original member, but 2016 saw Slash, Duff McKagan, and Steven Adler perform again with Guns N' Roses for the first time in years.
Nothing lasts forever, and we both know hearts can change.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Oasis.
Slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find?
Even in the 1990s and early 2000s, when some were hailing Oasis as the next Beatles, Noel and Liam Gallagher had a lot of disputes. But the fighting between these brothers finally reached a head minutes before their set at a 2009 festival in Paris.
I live my life in the city. There's no easy way out.
After Liam swung one of Noel's guitars at him, the brothers got in a brawl backstage. Their show was cancelled, and Noel later issued a statement that Oasis was no more. The Gallagher brothers have both gone on to relatively successful solo careers and reportedly haven't spoken to each other since the breakup.
Say what you need. I'll be on your way and stop crying your heart out.
Do you agree with our list?
It's important that you keep it in mind too.
What bands do you think had a messy breakup? To see more Rockin' Top 10s published daily, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
All in all, you're